The vanishing of Dr. Mark Halston. On the rainy morning of October 14th, Pinebrook, Oregon. Population just over 3,000 woke up to an unsettling silence. Dr. Mark Halston, the town's only physician and beloved local figure, failed to show up for work. His receptionist reported him missing by noon. By dusk, the search was on. Hours later, his white SUV was found parked by the Pinebrook Creek trailhead. The driver's side door was open, keys still in the ignition. Inside was a smear of blood on the steering wheel. Mark was gone. No witnesses. No struggle. No sign of where he'd gone, or why. The town was stunned. It seemed impossible that someone so respected, so familiar, could simply vanish. Sheriff Nolan Briggs launched a full-scale investigation. Initial theories pointed to a random act of violence, maybe a transient from the nearby Cascade Trail. The SUV's location near the forested area suggested Mark had gone for a hike or met someone there. A forensic sweep found no fingerprints other than Mark's. But things began to unravel at his home. Inside his study, investigators found a locked drawer with a bundle of personal letters signed by Celeste Harper, a local ceramic artist who had recently moved to Pinebrook. The letters were romantic, obsessive, and in one case, threatening. On his computer, detectives discovered an email sent from Celeste just 48 hours before the disappearance. "You promised me. If I can't have you, no one will." Celeste was immediately brought in for questioning. She admitted to a brief relationship with Mark, but claimed it had ended weeks ago. She also had an airtight alibi, teaching a pottery class, witnessed by 6 students. With no physical evidence tying her to the crime, investigators hit a wall. Just when suspicion turned cold, bank records revealed a $10,000 transfer from Mark's account to a man named Daniel Cortland, a name from Pinebrook's darker past. Daniel was Mark's estranged half-brother, known for past prescription fraud and a stint in jail. He had disappeared from the town years earlier under a cloud of scandal. Found living in Spokane, Daniel admitted to seeing Mark days before his disappearance, but claimed the money was a loan, not hush money. Still, he dropped a bombshell. "Mark told me someone was threatening him. Said she knew things about him. Said he couldn't get her to let go." Investigators began to wonder, was Mark not the man everyone thought he was? Was this connected to his past? And what did this mysterious woman, Celeste, really want? Then came the discovery that shifted everything. Celeste Harper wasn't her real name. A deeper background check revealed she was actually Lena Crowley, a former psychiatric patient from a Portland facility where Mark briefly worked as a young doctor. She had a diagnosis of erotomania, a delusional disorder in which someone believes another person is deeply in love with them. Lena had tracked Mark for years, obsessed with him. When he moved to Pinebrook, she followed, under a new name, new profession, and with a plan to insert herself into his life. Once Mark realized who she was, he tried to distance himself. But by then, it was too late. 2 weeks after the disappearance, a hiker found a shallow grave near Maple Hollow, just off a remote trail. Inside was Mark Halston's body, beaten to death with a blunt object. Forensics recovered traces of clay residue under his nails, matching the materials used in Lena's pottery studio. When confronted, she confessed to the murder. "He lied to me, used me, made me believe this life was possible." She had lured him to the trail under the pretense of talking things out. When he rejected her again, rage took over. She killed him with a pottery sculpting tool, wrapped his body in a tarp, and buried him in the woods. She left the SUV to throw off the timeline. Lena Crowley, aka Celeste Harper, was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life without parole. Dr. Mark Halston's death devastated Pinebrook. Candlelight vigils lined Main Street. A memorial plaque now sits outside the clinic he once ran. Sheriff Briggs gave a final statement to the press. "Even in small towns, shadows find a way in. We trusted her, welcomed her, but behind every mask is a story, and sometimes it's darker than we can imagine." The story of Dr. Mark Halston became more than just a crime. It became a cautionary tale of obsession, identity, and how even the safest